Hello and welcome to another video. Today we are going to Copenhagen. We are going to the European SharePoint Office 365 and Azure conference. It's a 3-day conference. I'm really excited for this. I've never been to this conference before. I've heard such good things about it. It's got like a Ignite level of buzz about it. So come with me on this video. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and let's go and see what it's all about.
Good morning and welcome to day one of the European SharePoint Office 365 and Azure conference. ESPC 22 is here. Very excited to be here. First time for me here, and we are right at the start of the day. This is before the keynote. I'm on the Expo Floor. The Expo Floor is still being built. I'm going to sort of spin around so you can see. And yeah, so we're just kind of, everything's been put together. We're going to slowly make our way back, walking through as we do, because it's nearly time for the keynote, which is happening first thing this morning with Jeff Teper from Microsoft, so that's kind of exciting. I love these little breakout areas. I love these deck chairs. These are cool. And there's so many little fun things just to kind of, this is very Ignite-esque. This kind of reminds me a lot of a big conference, Microsoft conference like Microsoft Ignite, where the organisers have really thought through what people need, and it's not just like an expo hall like this. It's not just sponsors. It's things like this, Ask the Experts, all these different areas that you can, you know, when you come back here, when the expo hall is fully open, and there'll be people here to answer your questions in all these different areas. So this is really nice, and even a Christmas tree. Like I say, it's going to be a full day of sessions today, and for the next 3 days, there are so many sessions happening. There's lots and lots of fantastic speakers. It's pretty exciting. There's such a buzz about this place as well. So there's a hotel connected to the conference centre, which is nice, a really nice hotel, but it means that everybody's in the same place, everybody's together, and so you've got some great conversations happening in the evening, and everyone's kind of catching up, and it's a really, really nice feel about the place. All right, let's get to the keynote.
How did you feel? ESPC in 3 years since product in 2019.
So give me a very, very warm welcome for Mr. Jeff Teper.
Good morning. You know, it's nice to see you're still gainfully employed. We update every single day, millions of servers, and yet we still created some new business opportunities for you, so that's good to see. So it is incredibly wonderful to be here at ESPC. The team and I love this event. It's great to see so much passion and people from all over Europe, in fact, all over the world to come to this amazing event. The team here, Kevin, Sarah, and the broader ESPC team is always so warm and welcoming, and so we were thrilled that after 3 long years that they made it through their own business challenges and are hosting once again a fabulous, fabulous event. This is the biggest year for innovation we've done, and it's about really 2 things: helping individuals be more productive, collaborate with others, working any place, anytime, anywhere, on any device in a very secure and seamless way, but also helping the larger organizations that they're a part of transform with the latest collaboration tools that connect inside and outside their organization.
With these, we know that performance is a key thing, and trust me, we hear you. Performance needs to be improved here. So over the past year, we have shipped a number of improvements to both the framework and the performance to improve the switching between channels and chat by over 30%. It's getting better every day. More and more innovations, more and more investments from the team to make performance a key priority in teams.
Right, so I only have 10 minutes to cover 3 entire products, so I'm just going to get going with the first one we're going to talk about today, which is Microsoft Stream. Here's the Stream start page. It's just like the Word start page or the Excel start page. Because yes, Stream files are not stored alongside a bunch of other videos, but sometimes if you know you're looking for a video, the Stream start page is an excellent place to start. So when your list data has to work with date ranges, you want a different display of how you're working with this data. And so I'm going to go create a calendar view for this data. I'm going to go ahead and configure it, set the start time, the end time, and you're going to see it's going to look just like an Outlook calendar, except that it is backed by this data. This is something that's been requested for an awfully long time. Go ahead, please apply. But I'll show you a brief look at what the Loop app is going to look like on the web. So you can see you have workspaces, you have pages, all the Loop components are brought together, you can add a little bit of personality to the page, and once again, it's insanely collaborative, it's great for note-taking, it's great for the early stage process of bringing a team together and getting information out of people's heads really quickly, all working on the same data in real time. So this is the roadmap for Loop. I'll leave it up so people can take a screenshot. It's actually inside the Loop, in the Loop app, so it's a little meta there. And that is basically my time today. If I leave you with 3 things, I would say on Stream, think about a use case for 2023. If you see me in the hallway, go tell me what it is. If you have a cool scenario for List, another great icebreaker if you see me in the hallway, tell me what that was. And think about how you're going to use Loop on your next project. Thank you all.
Yeah, and we thought it would be great to show those 3 together to show how we're bringing brand new experiences to Microsoft 365, but sharing an underlying strategy of integrating an Outlook and Teams for communications, and all backed by SharePoint storage. I'm really, this isn't an architectural deep dive, but a lot of what you saw, the streaming video capabilities, a lot of work went into SharePoint to power those. Those Loop sessions, even the ones in Outlook and Teams, are plumbing of the fluid data structures in the SharePoint storage system. Big set of work. Microsoft Lists, of course, backed by SharePoint, including this Nucleus engine that's on the client that lets us have very, very large lists, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands and more rows in a list that you can work with in flaky networks or even offlines. And Adam talked about it in Lists, and then Cathy showed that we're bringing that approach to the web interfaces for files, including OneDrive, and much more. And so to talk about Viva and Syntex, I'm very excited. Joining us is Chris McNulty.
Good morning. It is great to be back here in Copenhagen and great to be back at ESPC. How many of you are returning to ESPC from a previous conference? Great to see you here. Who's at their first ESPC? That is wonderful. Thank you so much. One of the things that I think is really important about Viva, and very different from how Microsoft would have built Viva 5 or 10 years ago, is Viva is very much about our partner ecosystem. Dozens and dozens of partners are working with us to make sure that our customers' investments across this broad ecosystem can be brought together through the Teams platform to make sure that we're bringing that into the flow of work. And so we're continuing to add more and more partners to the Viva ecosystem all the time. And if you're not on the slide and would like to be on it, you should talk to us. We worked across our ecosystem with our partners, Adobe and DocuSign, to make sure that we have a good first-party experience there. We love our customers' investments in those technologies, but we also want to address the need that people have to be able to deploy an eSignature solution that lives inside the Microsoft 365 Trust Panel. So here, I can select Syntex's eSignature capabilities or one of our partner solutions, and then decide how I want that document to be approved. I'll decide who it's going to go to, who should be the signatories, and then once I've framed that up, the next question is to add the placeholders where people can add their names, their dates, and the other things that I think are important to generate a signed document. At all times, the document stays inside M365, where you can get to it, where you can know it, where you can see it and control it. When I'm ready to send that document out, the right people will get links to be able to interact with that document. So here I can see from the perspective of an external person that they've received a new e-signature request, and they can bring it up, and they can supply a cryptographic signature or a wet signature, whatever they choose, being able to add that. At all points in the process, the originator gets to keep track of what's going on and to see where we are in the approval process.
I knew most of that, or all of it, but even I'm a little bit exhausted. So it's okay. You know, I know it's like first thing in the morning, and maybe we've turned the fire hose on a little bit. But the good news is there's a lot of detailed sessions on everything you just saw. I think the main thing I want you to take away is that we are focused on the full spectrum. We've had a very consistent message in our development platform for the last 6, 7+ years, and really haven't changed it fundamentally. First is the data is available via REST APIs via the Microsoft Graph. That could be people or documents, email messages, chats. We're expanding the surface area so you can integrate the underlying data in Microsoft 365 in your applications. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sitting through the session this week. There's tons more content, and the team is so thrilled. Say hi to us in the hallways and in the sessions, and thank you again for being part of the best community in technology.
That was a really good keynote, actually. Really upbeat. I loved the intro. Love what they did there to get everybody, all the attendees and all the audience kind of fired up and ready to go. That was really, really cool. And then Jeff Teper's keynote was great. Yeah, it was really good roundup. I don't think there's anything kind of particularly new and groundbreaking in there. It was a lot of the things that we saw at Ignite. But if you weren't at Ignite, and who was this year? And if you didn't manage to get all of the sessions remotely and didn't watch all of the keynotes, and who had time to do that this year, this was a really nice way of catching up on some of those announcements, and some great demos in there as well. Yeah, really, really interesting. Interesting to see Microsoft talk a little bit about Microsoft Teams performance and recognizing very openly that they don't think the performance is quite there yet, and there's still work to do. And but they've made lots of changes, and they've made lots of improvements, and things are also going to get better as well. And then some really interesting things about Microsoft Loop as well. And we saw a demo of the new Microsoft Loop app, which they talked about at Ignite and is not yet available, but also showing it inside Microsoft Teams, showing it inside Outlook as well. All right, so the rest of the day, we have sessions for the rest of the day, session content, and then we'll kind of go and look at the expo floor.
And therefore, what I would love to show you is my literally favorite attack related with how we're able to attack the privileged access in the network while we are just connected to that network.
But that's one of the starting points. Try to figure out, okay, how do I get this content we are presenting at least to the virtual world, and how then there needs to be a mechanism, how do you get it back to the real world.
Now lunchtime here in the expo hall, which is also a great opportunity to kind of look around the expo hall and see everything that's going on. It's now fully open, and all the vendors are out, all the sponsors are out. I will say lunch is super well organised. There's lots and lots of different stations to go and get your lunch at, and lots of different places. So the queues are not that bad for lunch. And there's an hour for lunch as well between sessions, so there's plenty of time to have lunch, catch up, and also go through and see some of those vendor stands as well. Lots of areas to eat as well, lots of tables, lots of seats. If I go all the way back here, you can see, come all the way down here, it kind of goes on and on. So like the expo hall part is finished now, but this is all chairs and tables for lunch and for food. So yeah, it's nice to see kind of like lots of thought gone into like how everyone is going to eat at the same time. There are a lot of people here. This is a busy conference. This is a huge building that it's in actually. It's lovely, and it's all glass as well. So unlike a lot of like expo halls, it doesn't feel, you know, like a really artificial space. It feels really nice. It feels like being inside a lovely kind of greenhouse, except it's not boiling hot. There's big trees in here. You can see kind of right at the end if I come through here. There's like grass on the walls, and over on the far wall as well. There's ginormous trees. They're like huge inside, growing inside this space. So it's a lovely space. It's nice. Lots and lots of natural light. Lots of yeah, which is really nice.
Who likes Canvas apps? Who likes to build Canvas apps? Still many people. Notice my hand? No. Like, I quickly noticed that this is not me at all.
I don't know off the top of my head if it's fully deployed, but we have one team and one code base for the files control in OneDrive, SharePoint, and Teams.
It's permission level, so we can have granular access control. You can restrict who can do what in order to get...
So this evening we popped into Copenhagen, to the Tivoli Gardens, which is a fantastic, just, I don't know, it's like a light experience, if you like, for Christmas. There's things to eat, there's things to drink, there's just so many lights, it's amazing. I'll put some footage in, haven't got my camera, it's just on my phone, because I didn't know this was going to happen. Yeah, it was really good, and so I'll put some of that footage in right now. We're back in the conference centre now. It is a new day. That night, last night at Tivoli Gardens was fantastic. It's nice to get out sometimes, get out from the conference centre and the hotel venue and just kind of look around a little bit. I like to do that if I can, if the time allows. Anyway, we're back here now, more sessions, more Expo Hall. Just come from a great keynote by Caruana Gatimu at Microsoft. Kind of talking about the metaverse, but really also talking about how we prepare for change, how we make sure we include people first as we kind of execute that change. And it's very much a kind of a rallying call to be in control of the future. So stuff like the metaverse, we're still not really sure what it's going to look like. We're not sure how it's going to impact our businesses, except that we know that it will. And how we do that is, and how it gets implemented and what it looks like and all the rest of it. Interestingly, like Caruana likened it a little bit to the internet, which I thought was a great comparison. We didn't really know what the internet was until it arrived, and then when it did arrive, and Caruana had this experience as well, this kind of lived experience of not really realizing the change until it was happened, if that makes sense, or like the change kind of happening around you. Whereas I think now we're at this tipping point with the metaverse to be much more intentional about being in control of what that change looks like and driving it from the front as well. So yeah, great uplifting keynote to start the day. Lots of other sessions happening as well I'm interested to get into, and I still want to get back on the Expo floor again because every time I never quite make it all the way around before being distracted or bumping into someone or something like that.
I think ultimately that's better, but it does make things even more confusing because, instead of there just being 6 ways of doing the same thing, there's about 9 of them.
Now, the key throttle that you will see nowadays is this one. Number of resource units per app per minute. So we'll give you a quota, and we'll talk about that in a second. But your app has a certain quota, and if you go beyond that quota, you get throttled.
And it's my great pleasure to introduce the next keynote speaker at ESPC 22, Mr. Scott Hanselman.
Hey friends, I may or may not have forgotten how to do this.
I have to tell people about buses after Scott's just told us how to make ourselves and each other better. So thanks for bearing with me. Scott, that was funny and inspiring and brilliant. So thank you very much.
All right, so we are all done with sessions for the day. We just had the closing keynote. Scott Hanselman, closing keynote on day 2. Really interesting session about mentorship, sponsorship. Scott's a great speaker. If you haven't heard him speak, it's definitely worth it. I think he used to be a comedian, maybe. That kind of comes through a little bit, but he's very effective at getting his message across. So now, back to the room, back to chill out for a little bit. There is an event tonight, an attendee, the kind of attendee party celebration. We have tickets for that, so that should be quite good. It sounds like it's going to be a really interesting night. There's food and there's drink as well. So good chance to catch up with everyone and talk to some attendees and find out how the event went, everything like that. I'll try and cover some bits of it. I don't know how successful that will be, but we'll see. And then tomorrow is the last day. It's the day I'm speaking as well, and then we'll be on our way home again.
Blazers go.
So I would have loved to have stayed all evening, but I'm coming home early. It was a great night, really, really good, but we got an early start in the morning, so I need to get to bed, and I will see you in the morning. Good morning, it's the last day of ESPC. The attendee celebration was last night. That was lots and lots of fun. I'm glad I left when I did, because I think otherwise I might have been there all night. And it was good to get a decent amount of sleep tonight. So that was good. Up bright and early this morning for the last day of sessions. I'm just going to now to go to the keynote, which should be really good. It's a mixture of low code and pro code. And then I've got my talk on Teams and doing B2C with Azure Communication Services straight after that. And then it'll be a couple more sessions and it will be the end of the conference, which is sad. It's been a really good day, a really good couple of days so far, and I think today will be really good as well, so looking forward to it.
And we are all part of this family. And well, you know, the father of this family and the leader of this family is a Finn. I would say the only one Finn who makes me feel like an introvert. And believe me, it is not true. And it is not easy. And well, so let me welcome on stage Vesa Juvonen and his friends. Thank you.
That's why you are the people that who we want to talk today. So thanks everybody one more time for being here. Now I'm a bit terrified if my niece will take care of this, but it's okay. Cheers! Cheers!
Alright, so all done with my session, went really well, the demos worked, which is the most important thing, that was all good, and whilst I was staying up for my session, I missed the announcement being made in the main auditorium around ESPC 2023, which is going to be held in Amsterdam, so that's very exciting, great city, so that'll be one to look forward to as well for next year. So if you didn't come to this conference this year, but in watching this video you thought it looked really good and you want to go for next year, put the date in your diary now, block it out, plan for it, and then subscribe to the updates from the organisers, because it is definitely happening. It's happening in 2023 and it's happening in Amsterdam. Alright, a couple more sessions now and then time to head to the airport and make our way home.
And then we will move on the dev side of the story. With Laura, you were able to see what the different flows are, how they work. Now, in this session, we will also see how to use them while developing an actual software solution with Microsoft technology and with Azure Active Directory.
Okay, there's just about time for one more wander through the Expo Hall, say goodbye to everyone, and then it is time for us to go to the airport. It's been an absolutely fantastic conference. Really, congratulations and thank you to the organisers. Thank you to all the speakers, thank you to all the help with the volunteers, all the folks in purple shirts that make this such a great conference. Thank you to everyone who came and said hello, who came to my talk. It's been great to catch up. It's had some great conversations, and yeah, it's been a really, really good couple of days. So absolutely massively looking forward to the next one, and yeah, time for me to go to the airport. So hope you found the video interesting and useful. If you like the look of this conference, look out for it in 2023. Otherwise, there's more stuff coming up, so you kind of make sure you subscribe for the videos and Twitter and all that sort of stuff. And I will see you again on the next video. Goodbye.